Welcome back to the Geekcentric podcast, and welcome back to our watch club for Star Wars The Bad Batch, Season 2. I realized then, peace was never an option. Welcome back to Watch Club. My name is CT0831, but you can call me Hugs, and this is our Watch Club for Star Wars The Bad Batch, Season 2, Episode 3, titled The Solitary Clone. If you're joining us for the first time, this is Watch Club, our weekly review series, kind of like a book club, but way better. Keep in mind, we will be going into full spoilers for this series and Star Wars in general, so if you haven't watched this week's episode yet, be sure to do so, and then come right back in less than 12 parsecs. Now, before we run into an old colleague of ours who's not as evil as we are, let me introduce you to our experimental crew of ragtag troopers. First up, joining our small battalion, we are so glad to have a true friend and war hero joining us. Her name is CT0118, but you can call her Brushstroke.
I'm really excited to listen to you say "sor" for the next however many weeks.
I can't help it. It's just Omega.
It's
Omega.
perfect.
Perfect. Thank you. That's the only word I can say in that accent properly. So, and listen, dropping in from the sky way up high, we have the dopest, dankest dude on Dagobah, CT1006, but you can call him Joints.
Ahoy hoy. That's just going to be the way I log in now or report
just
in.
Every single
time. Sticking to it. Ahoy hoy. Last week was the beginning of a 15-week-long journey of ahoy hoy.
Get ready for all the ahoy hoys, a boy boys, and a goy goys. We are going to be talking about this episode, Bad Batch, episode 3, going a bit darker this time around.
Mm-hmm.
We talked last week about how we kind of like how this series tends to dip its toes into the dark, and I think with a focus on Crosshair, this got there.
Like
this
the whole episode. Not just sprinkly bits of it, the entire episode.
Yeah, which, I just want to talk about it. So before we get sniped, let's get into this episode. The episode starts off, we see an Imperial invasion of the planet Desix as challenging Governor Groton speaks to the actual governor of Desix, Tawny Ames, and demands she steps down from her title. She warns him and tells him Desix does not fall under Imperial jurisdiction. She then calls in a massive battalion of frickin' battle droids at her command while saying, "I have a message for your empire." Oh, so badass. Before we continue, first off, how freaking dope was it to see that battle droids are still in commission at this point? I think with this show taking place after... I think with this show taking place after Revenge of the Sith, we just kind of expected droids to kind of go away, but I know we've seen them in the animated series in the past, but we see they're still being used here. What did you think of them? And then what did you think of Tawny Ames and her freaking mic drop that she laid on us with that line?
I mean, it's awesome to see the battle droids. I'm always happy to hear any time that, Matthew Wood's voice come through with the Roger or anything like that. They're so...
Or the ahoy hoy.
Or the ahoy hoy. I mean, we haven't heard it yet, but who knows? There might be a droid out there saying it. I mean, it's cool because as a fan of the books, we see battle droids later on even surviving after the fall of the Empire. So we're talking even farther in the future. But again, seeing them in the full-fledged battalion was something that I wasn't expecting at this point in time. And even how many there were. It wasn't just one small fleet. They had enough to defend this city with, a battle droid army, which I thought was, again, something I wasn't expecting to see clankers being taken out by clones. So that alone was enough for me to love this episode.
Oh, 100%. Cool. I love seeing these old school droids with their sassy remarks and, knowing they're a little less than genius. But I think it's so cool that they're obviously not under Imperial control like they were previously, but this sector or this city, this planet of Desix has reprogrammed them in a way to not follow, the Empire's orders in the way they would have, I guess, if
You mentioned sassy droids. Sorry, the droid going,
Oh my god.
It was so good. It was just so. I honestly, again, like you're saying, Darcy, it's so great whenever we get to hear droids talking, and then just again how classic. You're right to have clones versus clankers is just such a dope sort of rush of odd little rush of nostalgia, even though it hasn't really been that long since we've seen this happen. But I just thought it was really fantastic. And then I also just wanted to mention like freaking the governor wearing the Bush style mask that she's wearing and the way her voice sounds on it. Like it was giving me Leia vibes. And I just thought it was really cool to see just like, I don't know. Of course, the separatist groups have never worked with the Empire. They would still retain these droids, but I just thought she was so badass and just like, I have a message for your Empire. I was like, that is straight up like something that Leia would say, and I really liked her character.
She reminded me a lot of, and maybe it's just the mask and stuff, but she reminded me of Zori from the sequel.
Oh yeah, Zori Bliss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, are we going to get something from, no, obviously not. But it gave off the like badass chick vibes that Zori gives us.
Very much so. Very much so. So then, listen, we get our first look at CT-9904 Crosshair this season. A very lonely Crosshair with no one wanting to sit with him at lunch. He reports to Rampart, who informs him that he's been medically cleared for active duty. We then learn that he was stranded on the ruined Camino for 32 rotations. Rampart assigns him a mission on Desix, reminding him that we do not negotiate. He tells him to do whatever is necessary to secure the city and retrieve Governor Groton. He's told he's not ready to be a commander again, and that he'll be briefed by his new commander at the Battle Memorial. His new commander, we learn, is none other than frickin' Commander Cody. Before we start talking about Cody, because I know everyone's like freaking out, oh, gotta talk about Cody. Just really quick, how long, if either of you know, how long is a rotation? If Crosshair survived 32 of them on a ruined Camino, how did he do that? How long is a rotation? Is it a short period of time?
Rotation is a day. They're talking about like a rotation of the planet itself. So it might be a different number than 24 hours. But in the context, he spent about over a month on this
just
platform.
sitting there.
And I'm just wondering, how did he get food? Like, what does the survival training require
I'm
to
assuming...
live on Camino? Like,
yeah. Did he have sniper bullets still? Like, could he have just sniped some fish out of the water? Maybe.
Yeah. But again, the water's always so far down there, and the waves are so tumultuous. Like, how is he harvesting his shots or whatever? It's that worries the question. Is that like he must have been so like emaciated and dehydrated, and that might have been part of why it took so long for him to get cleared for active service, was just bulking up again and getting back into a healthy shape. It's nuts.
But Darcy, he's a good soldier. He follows orders. But speaking of actual good soldiers who follow orders, let's talk about Commander Cody. What did you think, Meg? You were freaking out when you saw this. What did you think of the return of Commander Cody?
Full gasp. The moment he said Commander Cody, I was like, oh my God. I love the named clones from the Clone Wars series, specifically Cody, because he's very much connected to Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan's my favorite Jedi. So I love that he's brought back. Initially, it scared me a little bit because I was like, I don't want him to be evil or to, be that good soldier who follows orders and sticks to, what he's being told to do. I'm glad it didn't pan out that way, but it was exciting to see him in this episode, and exciting. I liked his helmet. I don't know if I like the new
That's
design.
his original helmet. That's his original helmet, actually. Yeah, but it's not orange anymore.
Yes,
it just used to be orange.
Yeah.
So he's clearly the Empire's like, yo, you guys can have different ranks, but we don't want you being different colors.
No
That's too
personality.
much to figure out.
No personality. For you,
no
you
more
folks.
yellow.
You're just faceless soldiers.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was really cool. I mean, I'm pretty sure we saw him in the trailer for this season. The fact that he was talking to Crosshair. So, I mean, that wasn't a surprise to me, but I still think it's really interesting that at this point in time, Commander Cody thinks he had a hand in killing Obi-Wan. So, like, this is a guy who followed Order 66 all the way through, and now we're seeing what effect that's had on him. Because, again, he had such a strong relationship with Obi-Wan, and he has that on his conscience now that his mind's maybe a bit clearer after the whole Order 66 is kind of faded into the past. So I'm really stoked that this episode is an exploration of both Crosshair and Cody's position in the Empire now. So really cool way to kick things off.
Oh, it was such a nice contrast to see the two, where, Crosshair's from Order or Clone Force 99. So he's always been this sort of outcast doing things he's not supposed to do. And now he's fallen into the good soldiers follow orders and I will do everything I'm told. And Cody was with Obi-Wan in that sort of generation where he did follow all the orders and he tried to do everything by the law. And now he's realizing maybe that's not the right way to do things.
Well, I love that we sort of, even in this moment in their first interaction, we do get sort of a glimmer of hope in the way that he sort of is talking to Crosshair, that maybe we can still salvage him, maybe we can still save him, especially given the last thing we saw was him during Order 66, I think, right, during Revenge of the Sith, and him turning towards Obi-Wan and starting to fire his blaster. So yeah, this was quite a moment to get to see him again, and I hope we get to see him even more. But let's keep going here. Cody and Crosshair and their crew head to Desix with the plan to catch them by surprise, wipe out the reprogrammed droids, and recover Governor Groton. And of course, Governor Ames and her army of droids, they have other plans for them. And as they engage in battle, shooting them out of the sky, they crash land onto the planet, and then we see them sneak out of the wreckage, and Crosshair lands a super dope frickin' snipe into a tank with accuracy that only Crosshair could achieve. We see the locals are very wary of the Empire after Cody tries to tell them, we're here to help. They then get attacked by frickin' droidicas, which just hearing it was incredible. And then after they get stuck in a hallway, Crosshair makes another impossible shot by bouncing a shot off a metal puck, which he's done before, taking out 3 droids and a tactical droid. So before we keep going, can we just talk about how incredibly skilled Crosshair is just in general? Not even just in this episode, but just in general. Those shots were incredible, and it's not the first time that he's shown off these skills. What did you guys think of Crosshair's sniper performance in this episode?
It's exactly what you expect from Crosshair. Again, with last season, building up the whole thing that he's the best sniper and can make all these impossible shots. That one staircase scene really takes the cake in terms of how good he is at just what he does, and what he does is kill people. So it was epic to see that, and then the way he was working with Cody too. You could really see that clone camaraderie that we were so used to in the Clone Wars, and we're seeing it again with Cody, a familiar face, and Crosshair, who's never really worked with him. So I just like how well clones can work together in terms of and to get jobs done, going into these dark places.
Yeah, I loved obviously every single shot he took. When he was aiming himself to shoot straight down that tank's barrel, I knew it was coming. The way they're framing the shot, I was like, oh, he's going to shoot it right down the barrel. It's going to be so epic. While they're firing at him and everything's blowing up behind him, he's so calm and so serene because he knows what he has to do. And then in that staircase shot, I don't know if he's ever hit the reflective puck while it's moving.
Okay,
that was the crazy part of it all, that we've obviously seen him do that crazy shot down the hallway in the first season. But this one, it was the puck was floating and he caught the perfect moment. That was insane.
Unreal.
I also really loved the moment where the both of them got sort of pinned down by the droids and Cody forfeited his blaster and brought a dagger out. And there was a moment, I feel like it sort of mimicked Hunter and Crosshair.
Oh, yeah.
And I got full body chills. And I bet you Crosshair did too.
Yeah, absolutely. Getting to experience that again and see that again.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. And I love what both of you are saying. Darcy, the idea that Crosshair and Cody might not have fought together in the past, but the way that they're so able to just instantly click into that. And yeah, the Hunter vibes was dope. I wonder if that made Crosshair sort of miss Hunter, his brother, a little bit in that moment.
And just before we go any further, I also want to talk about a really cool visual from this episode, and it was when Cody's saying, "I'm here to help you," to the natives of the planet of Desix or whatever it's called. And at that point, he's the only character who's lit up by orange, kind of reminiscent of his Clone Wars coloring. And
when he
then
was helping people.
He's trying to help people, and he's trying to live up to that and still be the people, like the face that people can depend on. And because he's part of the Empire now, we see that it doesn't go his way at all. And just, again, there's the fact that they managed to get that across with just one shot of that orange
really cool.
light while Crosshair's hiding in the shadows beside him. It is just... I got chills from that one scene alone. It was like, damn, they know how to do, visuals well. And I think even Justin mentioned how throughout the episode, clones are going away from Crosshair, just showing the distance between him and his fellow clones that are remaining in the Empire, and how they're going a different direction than he is because of their beliefs and stuff. Visuals in this series are just incredible.
Especially, I mean, we've only seen 3 episodes, but this episode specifically, there are so many moments where the animation is just mind-blowing, and the lighting specifically, Darcy, like having that orange light, but also when Crosshair enters Rampart's office for the first time, the window sort of framing his head and Crosshair walks in on the corner gave me like Thrawn vibes and I got really excited. And again, throughout this whole episode, it happens more. There's incredible lighting moments that I find are really specific to the Star Wars animation style, and it makes it so intriguing to watch.
Well, not only what we see in this episode, but what we hearing, as I said, those droidicas rolling in. For anyone who grew up with the prequel trilogy, like just complete nostalgic tingles up and down. I'm just like, oh, it's droidicas. And it's like, it's so dumb because like they're not the greatest droids, but because they were like the cool droids that were around when, before the super battle droids or anything like that. And they're just like rolling out and just like, it's just... so dope. So cool.
There's also a moment that they highlighted, and I don't know if I'm assuming it was on purpose, where one of the, I don't think it's a clone, I think it's a stormtrooper, that's someone who's been recruited, throws one of those like static bombs, whatever it is that it stops the shield. They throw it too quickly and it bounces off the shield. And there's one episode in Clone Wars where Ahsoka and Anakin are teaching them how to like roll it lightly so that it goes through the shield. And then is it Cody that ends up getting it through?
I think so, yeah.
So cool. And then also that moment where the bomb hit the droid and then the droid slowly seeps into...
Because Crosshair shoots him, so he falls into the droideca. Yeah, there are so many good moments in terms of action in this thing. And it takes you right back to those Clone War era when you're just fighting the battle droids. It was so nostalgic despite it being not too far in our past. So yeah. I always love that feeling when you're able to go back down memory lane despite it being a whole different timeline.
So good. So good. All right. Well, after catching up to Groton, we see that he's being held hostage by Governor Ames. She gives her terms to Cody, claiming that Desix is an independent system separate from the Empire. We learn that Desix has had 2 previous skirmishes with the Imperial forces. Cody tells her the Empire only wants to establish peace and order throughout the galaxy. She rebukes this and name drops her colleague Mina Bonteri and mentions that she put forth a treaty with the Separatists and Republic senators alike to end the war. But the Supreme Chancellor rejected it. Cody has Crosshair lower their blasters, offering peace yet again. She releases Groton, who commands Cody to execute Governor Ames. He disobeys his commanding officer's orders, and then, boom, Crosshair shoots her dead. They put her body in the square as a warning to the people of Desix and head back, but not until Crosshair witnesses stormtroopers, his replacements, landing in the city. Cody and Crosshair discuss the difference between themselves and battle droids, and saying, we make our own choices and we have to live with them too. Crosshair reports to Rampart, who tells him that he has a new mission for him and that Commander Cody has gone AWOL. So let's talk about this, again, really dark ending for a show that I mentioned last week that like we kept going back in season 1 of talking like, this show's for kids, this show's not for kids, this show's for kids. This episode, not very for kids. What did you think of this dark ending, and where do you think Commander Cody's going?
Please don't be dead.
Right, like you think Rampart might have just been like, oh, he's gone AWOL, but in reality,
because he seems to be hiding a lot of things from people, as we saw in episode 2. So who knows what happened to Cody? We actually were discussing it a little bit, that we wonder, have we seen him in any of the Rebels episodes? Because this is all past, or it's, I guess Rebels is in the future of this series, and I don't think they see him or, interact with him at all. So he could be anywhere or gone. But also going back to, Governor Ames' sort of speech about peace and how fake that is with the Empire. And when she mentioned Mina Bonteri, I about jumped out of my chair. I was like, oh my God. I just love these Clone War references, and the fact that it's not holding onto those and making those the point. It's just sort of mentioning them because that's what has happened in their history. So I thought that was really beautiful. And, Nate, you like to point out the music of these shows, and the moment that the camera pans over to Crosshair and we get that like wah, 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 wah sound. Oh my God, that sound is so Bad Batch, and it scares me every time.
I'm gonna sub in a Star Wars swear for a regular swear, but Dank Ferrick, the music was so good. It was Blade Runner as Ferrick. The sound design, the alarm noise, the empty hallway, the white noises in parts of this episode, like just everything audibly in this episode just had me on such a high. And the way the episode ends with the dour music and Crosshair just walking towards the camera. Last week Justin had mentioned how it's cool to see different aspects of Star Wars borrowing from each other, and how we get in the live action series, we see stuff borrowed from the animated side. I think this absolutely was borrowed from Andor. This felt like an ending of Andor where it just kind of ends. And you just sort of see him walking down the hallway with this just Blade Runner music. Oh my gosh. The music alone was like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel bad for the guy, because you think about what his bunk room used to be like with the other guys in there, how loud and boisterous they could be. And now he's just got to be, on his own in this single little cot in what looks like a closet, basically. And he can't eat a meal in peace. Every time he sits down for a meal, Rampart's calling him to the office for something. He's so alone, and you feel for him so bad that like he thinks he's doing the right thing and this is the only thing he knows how to do. But at what personal anguish he's going through just to be a good soldier. They're doing such a great job of depicting where he is in life right now, with how his family's left him and he's following orders, but he doesn't feel like those orders are maybe the right thing to do, but it's all he can do. His character is so nuanced, and I can't wait to see where they take him.
And I think this for me felt like it might have been one of the darkest moments in Star Wars animated history. The only other moment I think that can come close is like Ahsoka chopping off two heads at once was pretty dark, but also very badass. But this moment was a little bit more sad, I think. But I think the aspect of understanding the political ramifications of the Empire moving from army to army was really cool, and it's really interesting to see 3 generations of armies and how easily they're replaced, right? We see the Clone Wars taking out the Clankers, and then only to then see the Stormtroopers taking over for them. It just gives these characters that were just faceless cannon fodder in the original movies, and so to see their actual worth, I just think it fits so well with the overall themes of this series. And I thought the way this episode ended was absolutely phenomenal with those sequences.
Well, and talking about the new armies, I know I said it in the first season, but again, seeing these like pre-Stormtrooper helmets, very much Macquarie inspired, I love it, and I want to see more of them, because they are so. It's so cool to see something that was, just a sketch at one point actually be realized and brought into canon so many years after its inception. So that alone always makes me smile, seeing those things continued. So I love the look of this mid-Empire or like between army thing. It's great. Give me more.
And this is why we love Dave Filoni.
Yes. Thank you. Praise to Dave Filoni. Before we kind of wrap up and get to our final thoughts, we're not going to be doing a prediction segment for this episode. We're not going to have them for every single episode, but I've got a new thing that I'd like to introduce. It's called a batch fact. Batch fact for you all. We were actually supposed to see Commander Cody again in the Obi-Wan Kenobi live-action series, but the story treatment written by writer Stuart Beattie was never used. He was originally going to be put in charge of watching after Luke after Ben left Tatooine to find Leia, and they never used that storyline. So that would have been incredible.
That makes me so sad.
Yeah.
Right? It would have been pretty phenomenal, but who knows, if the story treatment was written like that in the past, again, we don't know where he went. He's gone AWOL. Maybe we'll get to see something similar in the future. I know Lucasfilm likes to kind of sometimes dive back in and say, there was a story or there was a thing that we were going to use and then we didn't, but now we are, sort of thing. And we've seen that in the past, especially with these animated series.
Well, and now that I'm thinking back, do we actually see Cody get on that ship? Like when...
Yeah.
Oh, we do watch him. He does walk on.
Yes, after he watches the new guys walk off the ship, he turns, puts his helmet on, and boards the ship.
Okay. I was hoping maybe we just never saw him get on, so maybe he just never got on, and he went. But
he's just hanging out with the people of Desix or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, listen. Let's get to our final thoughts and score for this episode, which we're going to be rating on a scale of 1 to 5 impossible crosshair shots. And Darcy, we're going to start with you this week.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious what my score is going to be. This was the perfect reintroduction to the character of Crosshair, much like those first 2 episodes were the perfect reintroduction to the Bad Batch as a whole. So, again, it gave me everything I wanted in terms, even with the darkness. Like I said, when we maybe go this Crosshair route of the story, we will see darker stuff, and that this episode delivered on that. And again, we got developments of not only him but Cody's standing and the way he feels after Order 66. So many things that I loved about this episode are what make me want to come back to this series, because the potential for storytelling on this side of things is so intriguing. Like, I can't wait to see what Crosshair does after more interactions with other clones or with these new stormtroopers or just Rampart himself, because he clearly is so unsure of himself and where he stands right now. You can see it in the way he carries himself, where he's only confident when he's got that helmet on and he's pulling off one of these impossible shots. So again, I can't wait for more. This was an easy 5 out of 5 impossible Crosshair shots.
Wow, 2 5 and a 5s in a row.
In a row. This is so far off to a great start. So
jeez,
I'm not looking forward to when it goes down.
Darcy's not
Megan,
looking forward to the filler episodes.
No, those filler episodes terrify me.
For myself, I'm going to have to just agree with literally everything you said. It was so exciting to see Crosshair again, and to have him featured in such a dark place was really appropriate for the trajectory of his journey and where he seems to be going. I can't get enough of the callbacks and the little Easter eggs of the Clone Wars, but not having the story so focused on that and introducing new characters or people we haven't met before. So I love everything about this episode. Also, the animation, I will talk about it in probably every single episode. The lighting and the visual development of this particular episode was unbelievable and sort of gave me season 7, the duel between Ahsoka and Darth Maul vibes with the lighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, it really was so centered around lighting, and it worked so beautifully together with the audio as well. So I don't see myself going lower than a 5, but I'm sure it'll happen. I'm giving this episode 5 out of 5 impossible crosshair shots.
Oh my gosh, we're just a bunch of Dave Filoni stands over here. We're just, you know what? Anything Star Wars makes 5 out of 5. Why do you even listen to this part of the episode? No, just kidding.
Star Wars animation. Star Wars animation.
There we go, specifically. But yeah, I enjoyed this episode so much. I think the moments here, getting an introspective solo story for Crosshair, as we see him still so dedicated to the Empire, but then throughout the episode, as we get those subtle hints of him realizing that the Empire is not what he thought it'd be. The music in this episode, like we were saying, is just stellar. The action was fantastic. There were tense edge of your seat moments, and the fact that we get such a dark ending was actually really, honestly, refreshing for this show. I remember last season we would get so close to something like seeing Orn Free Ta actually get murdered, only to realize that he was perfectly fine in the next episode. And it was like, those moments kept bringing us back to the idea of like, oh, it's a show aimed at kids and they can't kill off that character for whatever reason. But it's moments in episodes like this that make me feel like this show does have a broader range of audience. Now, you batches, you did it again. Here's the deal, okay? I'm gonna put you. Okay, we're gonna go to a universe where Crosshair never left the group. He became an even better dad, and maybe I really hope we get to see this one day, with him teaching Omega or something like that to shoot or snipe or something would be really cool. But I'm gonna put this fan narrative out here. Both of you are dad Crosshair, good dad hair Crosshair, and I'm aiming my little sniper. I'm little Omega, and I'm aiming at a 4.5. Guess what? You lift my arm up slightly, and boom, we're at 5 out of 5.
Right down the
impossible
barrel of
Crosshair
the
shots.
tank gun.
Just right down the barrel of the tank. This episode was right on target. All right, well, that is it for this week's episode of Watch Club for Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 2. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to us wherever you like to listen to podcasts, if you haven't already. And if you want to write into the show with your thoughts or your predictions on the shows we cover in Watch Club, well, listen, you don't have to shoot a shiny flying disc in the air only to take out 3 droids in one shot. Instead, Megan, can you let the batches know where they can reach us by holomessage?
They can reach us at wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. That's wearegeekcentric@gmail.com. Or they can find us on Twitter at geekcentricyt or on Instagram at wearegeekcentric.
Very straight and to the point, just like a shot from Crosshair. I love it. Keep in mind, we have a ton of other great episodes covering the latest in movies, TV shows. We've got some reviews out now that you can definitely check out. And we have some interviews, like our interview with the Bad Batch themselves. I sat down with D. Bradley Baker, which was just absolutely insane. He had a wrecker voice. I had a wrecker voice at one point. It was fantastic. And Justin actually sat down with the series writer, Jennifer Corbett, and the supervising director, Brad Rao. And he actually asked them some pretty interesting questions. So definitely check out those interviews on YouTube at youtube.com/geekcentric. And you can, subscribe there, click the bell so you can keep up with all the great stuff coming at you in this new year that is 2023, this new era of Star Wars discussion, as I like to call it. Megan, Darcy, thank you so much for joining me for this Watch Club. And as we say,
good soldiers follow orders.